There are still a few days left for open registration for my spring session of Design 101, my 10-week immersive design course that is going to walk you through the design process for one room in your home from beginning to end. And if you're on the fence and you're still wondering, gosh, is this right for me? We're going to have that conversation today because you might have some questions. Some of the questions I've been getting are really good ones, and I want to make sure that you have as much information to make a great decision for you as you can before registration closes. Registration closes April 10th, and the course starts April 14th. The next time I'll be opening registration for another Design 101 session will be late summer, early fall. So if now's not the time for you, there will be another session before the close of the year. But before we answer all the questions that I've been getting, I wanted to remind you what you can expect if you do register for Design 101. This is a 10-week immersive course. It is live weekly sessions where we are talking about one concept each week that will help you get unstuck and move your design needle forward. We talk about things like understanding and identifying your aesthetic so that when you plan your room's design and you go shopping in the future, you can make decisions with confidence and ease, and spending less time at the return aisles in your favorite home decor stores and less time feeling overwhelmed, stuck in indecision, or down the rabbit hole of Pinterest, wondering and comparing what you like with what you see on the images. This is one of my favorite weeks of the course because it's where the aha moments happen. It's where we finally start realizing that style is different than aesthetic, and it's so much more nuanced. And if we approach our homes as storytellers, knowing that we are the author and the artist of creating that story within our home's environment, this is where having that breakthrough really, really matters. Understanding your aesthetic is so important to creating the landscape for what you create, the environment you create within your home. So after that, we talk about color and how color is used efficiently and in a cohesive way. We talk a lot about repetition, and we talk a lot about bullies and recognizing bullies. This is where, too, we get to have a bird's eye view of your space and where we get to really pinpoint with a fine-tooth comb some of the things that you might not be seeing within your own home, things that could be bringing your home down, your room down, things that could be making your room say something that you don't want it to say. After that, we talk a lot about design rules and guidelines, things that you want to consider when you're thinking about sizing and the importance of layers and texture and depth. We talk about shopping tips and where you can get some of the best deals and how you can spend your money wisely, what you should think about purchasing high price point, and what you can not purchase high, things that you don't really need to put a lot of investment into. We talk about budget, and we spent a lot of time talking about that a couple weeks ago, but budget is super specific to each individual. And when you think about budget in terms of not just the monetary value, but you think about budget in terms of the biggest impact first and making that biggest impact change first, a lot of times budget can be swayed and moved just a little bit in order to accommodate you more than you having to operate within the confines of that budget. And that's a little bit tricky to understand in the course of this conversation, but we dive really deeply into how budget can work for you instead of against you, and making sure that your priorities are aligned with goals of your room. And we do that by creating a project map that is specific to each individual. Because the class size is kept small, we get to really tailor your learning specific to your needs. And there are a couple bonuses that are included within this course. You get 2 one-on-one design sessions alone with me. You also get access to my bookshelf styling guide, which is something we're going to be talking about within the course as well. But there's a formula I created that really talks about the nuance of design in those little areas that can kind of feel stubborn and tricky. Those flat surfaces like mantles and tablescapes and entryway tables and bookshelves, and those places that feel like they could easily look awry. And you get that included within this course. So there are a couple perks that you get when you take the course. Okay. So let's talk about the questions that I've been getting. And then if you have questions, I want to encourage you to reach out. You can reach out via Instagram at Fig and Farm or Facebook at Fig and Farm. If you are part of my Facebook group, of course, pop into there. And you can email me as well, figandfarm@home@gmail.com. I will put all of those ways that you can ask questions into the show notes, so you can just hop down there, take a look, and do the one that is most convenient for you. But here are the questions I've been getting. The first one is, what are the time commitments? Okay, so the time commitments are not very much, but it is one of those things where, because we are an immersive course, what that means is it is active, it is engaged, it is something that you will benefit more the more you show up. You will get out of it what you put into it. That is basically what it boils down to. So there's going to be one live coaching session a week, and that will last about an hour, maybe about an hour and a half. You will have homework weekly. Some weeks are going to be a little bit more homework heavy, and some weeks are going to be a little lighter. And I would imagine that you can expect about 1 to 2 hours of homework a week. I will be checking homework, and I don't mean checking like grading or, when I was a first grade teacher, I would do the star or the smiley face on the top. We're not going to be talking about that, but because you want results from this course, I will be checking it, and we're going to be talking about what it is that you learned this week, how it is that you moved your progress needle forward, what it is that you need help with. And this is designed specifically to help you learn and grow in order to create a home environment that serves your family and serves you well. And one that when your friends walk in, they think, oh my gosh, this is so you. It couldn't be any more you. I can't do that if I'm not looking at your homework. So I'm going to be, you can expect that my eyes will be on it. And we're going to do that in class, as well as having a private Facebook group in order to have our own conversations, to post that homework, to ask our questions, so that we can create that small cohort amongst the people within the class in order to provide that accountability and support. Another question I get asked is something I just kind of answered, and that is, how much am I involved? And I love this question, but you know what? I am involved a lot. So much so that if we are not design besties by the end of the 10 weeks, I did something wrong. I am your leader, and I am your guide, and I am going to make sure that you have the wings that you need to soar afterwards. So you have all of the tools that you need in order to then do the next room independently. So my job is to teach you the content, and not just to teach it and say, okay, I'll see you later, have fun. My job is to check in on you. My job is to ask you questions, to encourage you along the way, to make sure that you understand what it is that the mission is, what it is the goal is, and to make sure that you are on the right footing in order to reach the goals that you have for your home. So I am involved. I am in your business. Another question I got asked was, what is the difference between me doing this design for you and taking the course? If I did the design for you, we would be working collaboratively, but basically I would be asking you a lot of questions. I would be wanting to see pictures. I would be wanting to see what the purpose of your room is. And I would be gathering all of that information for myself in order to inform my design of your space. You don't have as much collaboration. You just give input at the beginning, and then the creativity happens on my end. The difference then would be that I'm teaching you how to create your own space. I'm teaching you and empowering you really to understand what your aesthetic is, understand how color works for your family, understand the importance of storytelling within your family. Again, being that artist and that storyteller in your own home. You are in charge of your home environment. I'm just guiding you along that journey. So the result could be similar. It would not be the same. And if I were doing it for you too, I would ask for a budget. I wouldn't give you the idea of the project timeline or the project map as I would in the course that I'm teaching you. I would be saying, what is your budget? And here we are, and here are the things that I think you should do first, second, third, fourth. So I would be asking you all these questions, creating the design for you, and then ultimately the price point is a lot higher. So if I did the design for you, it does take quite a bit of my time. Of course, it is so much fun for me to do, and I'm happy to do it, but the price point is higher. The other question I got asked was, when will I open up this course again? And the answer is in late summer, early fall. And then, of course, I got the follow-up question of, how come you only open it 2 times a year? And that one is a little bit more nuanced. So as the owner of Fig and Farm at home, I have a lot of things going on. Of course, I have the podcast and I teach within my Facebook group. I also have a storefront, a brick and mortar, and then I coach middle school sports, and I'm raising a family. So that is really why, because I have a lot of things going on, not to mention having independent clients. So you can imagine that having one of these courses ongoing every 10 weeks would be a lot. And so I want to make sure that I give you what you need within those 10 weeks. I take a break, recharge, and I do it again. So that's why. The last question that I got asked was, will I offer this course without me being present, without me being the guiding hand and allowing you to do it on your own time? Yes, the answer is yes. That is going to be offered, and that is my goal, to get that available to you as quickly as I can. So you can expect that course available by June. And the price point will be, of course, a little bit less because I'm not involved. And you can do it if it takes you 3 days or if it takes you 3 years. You can do it independently on your own timeline. Same material, just without me. So that is coming, and I do want you to stay tuned. And if you want to know when that is available, I tell my Facebook group and I tell my email list first. So if you are not on my email list, you may want to, because oftentimes I talk to my email list a little bit differently than I talk to all of you. In fact, there was an opportunity earlier, early bird registration, in order to do this course that was only available to my email list. So if you want access to that kind of stuff, make sure you send me an email and say, hey, can you add me to your list? I'd be happy to add you. You can email me again at figandfarmathome@gmail.com to get added onto the list, or to tell me, yes, please let me be the first to know when this course becomes available. All right, you guys, that is it for today. Lots of questions asked about Design 101. And if you are at all interested and you still have another question, ask away. Registration closes on Sunday, on I was going to say December. It is not December, thankfully. As I look outside and see all of the blooms happening, definitely not December. On April 10th, it closes. So hop on over to figandfarmathome.com/registration to get signed up today. And I will see you in class.